thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you guys, because I truly feel honored to share my story and let you understand, why I'm so involved in this, why I care about this, why this is something that I'm passionate about. Because most times when people see me, they ask themselves, what is a 6'2", 260-pound fullback, hard-hitting, high-jumping, incredibly handsome guy doing in the environmental space? All right, they may not say the last part, but they ask, what am I doing in the environmental space? Because I'm the first NFL player in the history of the game to have a focus in the environmental space, to have an environmental foundation. And I didn't even know that when I first got started. I thought that, of course, must have been some other players who've done this, because just the law of averages. There are a lot of players who are passionate about a lot of things. There's people who love to get involved in the cancer movement. People are involved in education. Some are involved in homelessness. But for what reason would they skip over the environment time and time again? And I really think that it's just because of a lack of knowledge. For me, people ask me, why are you involved in this movement? I'm like, it's easy. My babies, my kids. I, like most parents, would do anything for my children. Anything. I'd take a bullet, run through a brick wall. I just look at these little human beings who come into this world and they look at you for everything. They look at you for life, for love, for happiness, for support, for just that acceptance. And my kids do the same thing, but they're looking at me through a glass NICU enclosure. My kids came early. They were dealing with several complications. Now I was still playing the NFL. I was with the Falcons. I was, doing my thing. I was actually the highest paid fullback in NFL history at the time. Signed a 6-year, $18 million contract. You could tell me nothing at the time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I worked hard in high school and college, and I got to the point where I felt like I'd made it. Arthur Blank sent his private jet to the Baltimore Ravens because I was coming from Baltimore, and he flew me down to Atlanta, and I signed this contract with more zeros than I've ever seen in my entire life. I figured, Mom, I've made it. I'm at the point now where I can do for my kids and for my family, my loved ones, everything I want to, because I've kept my nose clean, I've kept moving forward, and I've created the success that I was chasing after. The success, or supposed success, that we see on TV. When we watch and we see, the houses and the cars and the lifestyle, that's what I want. So I thought I had all that, and that was good enough. I was, all-pro Falcons fullback, top 1% of the top 1%. I'm at the Pro Bowl with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I'm blocked from Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. Drew Brees is the quarterback, and Russell Wilson. I'm rubbing elbows with guys that I used to just look at and admire. I'm one of them now. I'm at a point where I can pretty much do anything. So I thought I could do anything except for the most important thing. My kids were in the NICU, and as you saw, they couldn't come out because of the air quality in Atlanta at the time. My kids were fighting for their lives. In the times that they were in the NICU, we had 5 of their kids who died. Every day, I'm calling my wife, I'm texting her. I told my coach that my cell phone has to be on my pants, and I gotta be ready if she calls, because my baby's life on the line. I'd be in between plays texting her, are they okay? Are they cool? I'll see if she texts me back, because after practice, I go straight to NICU. Now, mind you, she'd already been 2 months watching our baby fight for her life, and then after those 2 months, she had to just check the air quality every day, and it was something that was foreign to me, because I didn't even know that air pollution was something that had the ability to be this damning, to be this, just to wreck somebody's life like that. So all the time I'm checking, I'm calling, I'm trying to see what's going on. Other babies aren't making it. It just bothered me that as a father, no one told me, no one gave me just the ability to be part of the solution. Because if I would have known, I would have done something different. I would have done something more. I would have tried to be there for my kids in the way that every father wants to be. But I didn't know. What I did have the ability to do was to make sure that my kids didn't have to deal with this. To make sure that other people didn't have to deal with this. To make sure other people had the ability to say, you know what, this is an issue. This is going to affect me and people I love. I want to get involved. And here are some ways to do so. So that's why I try to educate myself. I try to really understand how my journey can help others. Because for those who know me, they see, you know, an NFL player that's at the top of his career, but they also know me as, I'm just a man. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother. I'm just a human being who wants to protect the ones he loves. And at the base, I think who we all are, we just want to enjoy our life, to enjoy with the people we love, and to protect those that we care about. It's simple. It's not complicated at all, but it's a problem when you're only given half of the book. You only give half the information. I mean, how would you feel if the most important person in your life, you weren't given everything you needed in order to protect them? You'd be pretty upset at the people who kept that information from you. You'd be pretty bewildered at why someone would keep this information from you. That's how I felt. So my journey is one where, though I made it to the NFL, though I got to the highest level, I want to make sure that there's no longer any situations that are going to occur where people don't have all the information. There's no longer going to be an opportunity for an adult, a child, anyone in between to say that I didn't know the environment was important. Because if a 6'2", 250-pound pro athlete can get involved in the environment, we all can. The climate crisis, it's real. It's something that I didn't think was real. And I had some great conversations today with some really cool people where it's not about I was against it, and I'm probably I was in the place where most of you guys are in. It was just, I was indifferent. I didn't know why this was something that I had to be a part of, that I had to fix. I'm a good guy. I did a lot of great things. I volunteered at homeless shelters. I grew up in the church. We'd go and the senior living facility, and I sang in a gospel choir. Actually, fun fact, if you want to see me sing the national anthem in a very slightly above average way, I'm on YouTube singing for the Georgia Force football game. So I do a lot of great work, and I feel like I'm doing my part in society. I just wasn't doing the environmental thing. I figured that like Al Gore or Richard Branson or somebody else would handle that. That's just wasn't my thing, which is really stupid because the way that I lived my life on the football field, I had this mentality that I had to make the play. I had to make the difference. I never waited on somebody else to create something out of nothing. It was me. From high school to college at Wake Forest to my time with the Ravens or to my time with the Falcons, I just thought that, that's what I had to do. And the one time I didn't do that, I got burned. Quick story for you. I just signed my contract to play with the Falcons. I was, they were making fun of me as the $18 million fullback because for those of you guys who know football, and I see a couple of potential football players in here, so they probably feel me. Fullbacks are way down here in the level of priority. Like we have your quarterbacks, we have your receivers, you have your defensive backs, and fullbacks are next to kickers, to where they just don't get the love and the support and the chutzpah, the gravitas I think they should have. So I was a fullback, and I was a well-paid fullback, but I was one that was fighting to show people that I was worth it. I was fighting to show people that, hey, I deserve to be here and I can be of value. But I also thought that I reached a level to where I didn't have to play special teams. And again, for those of you guys who don't know football that well, there's offense, there's defense, and there's a lesser known third part of the game called special team. And no one wants to play because that's where a lot of the blue collar role player, tackle dummy guys go to. So I was pushing the special teams because our coach needed an extra body, and I thought that I didn't need to be there. So we had think it was the beginning of the season, kickoff against the Saints, our hated enemies. We kick the ball off, and I'm running down. There's 11 of us down there. Kicker doesn't do anything, so it's about 10 of us down there, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. I'm with the R3, so I'm looking at my guy. He's talking about, we're going to go get him. I'm like, yeah, you go get him, you go get him. Yeah, we're going to get him, you go get him. And so we kick the ball off, I'm running down, and this is one of the craziest things in football. I don't know why it's even allowed. 50-yard full sprint, and then you run straight into another human being. But this is what we did. This is what we always do. So I'm, a large individual, a beast of a man. I'm running down there full speed, and then I'm seeing guys to my right get picked off, and I'm running a little slower. I see guys to my left get picked off. It's like we're in like a war movie where they're just getting nailed and bodies flying everywhere. And so I'm looking. I don't want to make the tackle. I don't want to get hurt. I want to save myself for offense, because that's where, my specialty is. I don't want to be just a tackling dummy. I did that before. So I'm running, kind of, slowing down a little bit, and then I see the whole left side. 1, 2, 3, they're going. And the guy catches the ball. He's running to the left, and I'm like, I got to run faster, because he's not going to make the play. He's not going to make the play. He's not making the play. I got to make this play. So I'm turning around, trying to cut him off, busting my behind. At the very last second, I dive and something off a TV movie, and I barely grab his shirt and fall down, and he scores the touchdown, and we lose the game by 1 touchdown. So in the game, it looked like it was my fault. Even though everyone missed a tackle, I didn't give that full effort. I expected somebody else to make the play. The next day, if it's Monday, we win, Victory Mondays. If we lose, it's not victory. It's something else that I can't say here because I want to be PC. But on Mondays when we lose, it's a long day and everyone gets called out. I remember to this day, he had a red pointer and he circled me and he watched me from the beginning of the play and said, Mughelli, what are you doing? Why are you jogging? Why are you loafing? Why aren't you going full speed? And honestly, I thought somebody else could make the play because I wasn't, so I thought, needed here. So he watched me the whole time, and he showed at every instance where I could have done better, moved faster, been more intentional. And he showed me when the guy was running across, and then when I decided to actually try and do something, it was too late. When I decided I wanted to make the play, because I needed to, it was too late. When he saw me dive and that desperation where I just tried to, kind of save the day, it was too late because I didn't have that mindset from the beginning. I didn't have that thought that it had to be me, that I could do something great. And the reason I tell that story is because it's the same reason why I want to impress upon you now to get involved in this issue. This is one of the most important issues out there. And if you look to your left and look to your right and say, I came here and I'm going to hear this guy out and it seems like it's an interesting background, but I'm not really going to do anything about this. This environmental issue really isn't that big of a deal. I'm busy. I got school. I got work. I got, other responsibilities. I don't have to figure out how to solve this. There's too much going on. There's too much that I have to deal with. This isn't my problem, my plan. You don't want to be in a situation where you're like me, where your baby's sitting in a hospital and the air pollution outside of your city is keeping her from coming home, and she's sitting in a place where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 babies didn't make it. And you're wondering, I wish I had an opportunity to go back and to do something about the environment my baby's going to come into. I wish I had a chance to make sure that she comes into something that's more friendly. You don't want to be in that situation where you're scrambling at the end, like I was scrambling on that play. You want to be ahead of the game. You want to be ahead of the sticks, as we call it. But you can't do that if you don't know better. And one of the reasons people don't get involved is because they feel like this is the issue that isn't that bad. It isn't that big of a deal. When I realized that this affected my kids, I wanted to educate myself. I was blessed because I found somebody that could take me by the hand and say, okay, you want to know more? I'll give you more. Arthur Blank, billionaire, was friends with Ted Turner, billionaire, and they had a billionaire's gala or event, and I had a chance to meet Ted Turner, who coincidentally was created the only thing that really showed me that the environment was potentially for me. Anybody here heard of Captain Planet? Captain Planet? Couple planets. Oh, wow, a lot of young folks. All right, Captain Planet. Okay, cool. Because I say it now, I realize I'm getting kind of old. If y'all come meet me later, you'll see I got like 12 gray hairs. My daughter counts them for me. And she used to pluck them out because she told me she'll keep me young forever, which, bless her heart, is not possible. But she would pluck out my gray hairs, and she lived for like a year straight until she started pulling out more black hairs and gray hairs and pinching daddy and making it bleed, so we stopped doing that. But my daughter is, that's my heart, and she started to pluck my gray hairs to keep me young, but I'm not. And a lot of these people, a lot of you young people, don't know what Captain Planet is, which is a shame, because it was the only connection that I had when I was 12, 13 to environmental education. And the reason that I connected with Captain Planet was because they had this African character called Kwame. And Kwame was the dude, Kwame was my man. Kwame had that power, and he was straight out of Africa, so he had the accent and everything. He was unlike me. My parents were Nigerian, and I was born here, and yeah, when I get around other Nigerians, they make fun of me because my accent is long gone. But, Kwame, he had the awesome earth power, and he was giving a voice to those who didn't have a voice. He was fighting for those who couldn't fight for themselves, and he was showing how the environment was something that should be fought for. And so I was like, all right, cool, I like that a lot. But there really is no Captain Planet right now that kids know about. This picture of my kids, my family. I got my nephew Akil, my daughter Olivia, Nasia, my 7-year-old, and Bossy, my 5-year-old, my wife Masika, and me in my fashionable yellow sweater. This is it's why I do what I do. But back to Captain Planet, it told a story for me that allowed me to understand. All right, I'm open to this. It planted a seed in my heart, my soul, my spirit that didn't really bloom until after I had an issue with my youngest daughter. But the more that I got a chance to work with Ted Turner, work with the Captain Planet Foundation, the more I learned that this isn't just an issue that affects everybody. This is an issue that disproportionately affects people who look like me. This is an issue that disproportionately affects black and brown people. This is an issue where I didn't know environmental justice was a thing. I thought, social justice was very, a great cause, and a lot of other NFL players, a lot of activists were around social justice, but no one ever explained to me why environmental justice was an issue, why it was even necessary. But then they started throwing some facts at me, started throwing some numbers at me. And I have a couple of numbers here that really made me open my eyes. Approximately 13.4% of African American children have asthma compared to 7.3% for white children. That's nearly double. African Americans are exposed to 38% more polluted air than white Americans, and more than 80% of Latinos live in places that violate at least one federal air pollution law. The 6 states with the highest African American population in all the U.S. are in the Atlantic hurricane zone, are expected to experience more intense storms resembling Katrina, Rita in the future. I can go on and on and on, but the bottom line is that if you're a black or brown individual, you should definitely be trying to get involved in the environmental movement, because it's going to affect people who look like you and people who come behind you. And even if you're not a black or brown person, you should understand that this issue is not going to be solved unless we get all of us involved. And right now, this movement, this environmental movement that I was very excited to be a part of, the more that I go to events, the more that I go to different galas and workshops, the less I see people who look like me. And it's a two-way street, because there needs to be a better job done by those of us in this room. And I'm going to say, because you guys about to show up, that you give a damn about the environment, that you actually care about what's going to happen to future generations. Some of you may care at different levels, but the fact that you came here, I applaud you, because I want to share with you my story, and help you find your own story, because you each have somebody that you care about. You each know someone that you can talk to when you leave here that needed to be here, needed to hear about why this is something that should be part of what they do, how they think, who they want to be, because it matters. Bottom line, it matters. And the environmental justice issues are not going to go away, but they can be flipped on top of their heads if we have enough people who know better so they can do better. I'll tell you another story. When you saw the football camps, right, in the video, I did football camps in Charleston, South Carolina, my hometown. And I'd have young kids come to me who knew nothing about anything on the environmental side. Like, they didn't know what a carbon footprint was, they didn't really understand the concept of recycling, composting was a foreign concept to them, and they definitely didn't know anything about environmental justice. But they did know that their sister had asthma, they did know that they were always coughing and hacking and sneezing every time they left their apartment complex. They did know that there were no trees in the area, they were in like a urban food desert and an urban heat zone. And then they thought this is normal. They literally thought all of this was normal. They didn't understand about global warming. They didn't understand about climate change. They just knew they got really hot. And they just knew that they didn't have the money to just, let's buy another air conditioner, or let's just move, or let's do that. If any type of hurricane or flood or tornado, any natural disaster hit, because they're in a underserved area, they were a low-income family, they couldn't just move. But when I sat down there and I brought them to the football camps because they love football. I had my teammates Roddy White there and Michael Turner there, and I had Matt Ryan couldn't make it because he was busy, but I have other guys there, and they came because they saw these celebrities, guys who they said, I want to be like him. He went to the NFL, he's at the highest level, I want to be like him. But instead of football and life skills, I did football and environmental skills, which really are life skills. And we talked to them about, why is air quality important? What does the water quality have to do with you and your relationship to the environment? Let's talk about green jobs. Let's have a conversation about environmental justice. Let's talk about your carbon footprint. Let's talk about ways you can be a part of the solution. And their minds were blown. I had a kid who was middle school. He was like 6th, 7th grade. And he would, I remember the first camp where I knew I was onto something, and I knew that I wanted to continue down this path. He was tugging my shoulder because I was trying to negotiate. I had 200 kids. I'm doing this, talking and yelling like they're all my own kids. And he kept on just tugging me. I said, hold on, little man. He's like, Mr. Ovie, Mr. Ovie. I said, what's up? And he's like, Mr. Ovie, my sister has asthma, and she always uses her inhaler. And when she can't find the inhaler, sometimes she acts like she can't breathe. And I want to do more to make sure that she doesn't have to deal with that anymore. So if I work on this environmental stuff, will that help my sister breathe, help her with her asthma? And I said, in a way, yes. But more importantly, this is going to help your sister's kids' kids, and moving on forward. And at some point, we got to stop being so selfish and say, well, shoot, the work I do now, if I'm not going to be around to see it, doesn't do me any good. So I'm going to change. I'm going to keep on living life the way I want to live it. He kept on just saying, Mr. Ovie, he kept to ask me question after question, but he wanted to know more. He's like, I just want to help my sister. I just want to help my sister. And that, it almost made me cry because he just wanted a solution. He just wanted help because no one was helping him. No one was giving him the information he wanted. No one is letting him, say that you're important enough. You have enough value to where you can't just sit on the sideline and just take it and take it and take it. Take all the injustices. Take all the flack. Take all the BS that happens throughout his life, from just poverty to discrimination to the other issues that he deals with. It doesn't have to be you just taking it. You can fight back. Playing sports, period, it almost teaches you how to fight back. I didn't just play football. I was a basketball player. I did track. I did baseball. Believe it or not, I was a doubles tennis champion. I played all types of sports, and all the sports I played, they all had this grit to it. They all had this edge to it. And for those of you guys who are athletes or even esports or weekend warriors, you get that. We need that competitive edge and those juices start flowing and you want to just win. When you just want to win, it teaches you how to fight. I take that same effort, that same energy, that same juice into this movement, into this mission of mine, that I want to be the mission of yours. Because the kid who was tugging on my shoulder, tugging on my shirt, there are thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids like that who want better and deserve better and are relying on us to do our job and try to spread the movement and spread, more importantly, solutions. These are the kids that I talk about in every single talk. And these are my babies, so it's personal for me. You may have kids, you may not have kids, you may want to have kids. How would you feel if the kids you bring into this world not only come early, but something that you could have prevented, but didn't because you were too busy, you were indifferent, you didn't care, you thought somebody else was going to figure it out or deal with it? How would you feel if it ended up to where it ended up coming back to you and affecting you? That's how I felt. I was mad at myself. I had to go to the NICU every single day. And I had to look through a glass. And I had to watch my daughter, Nasia, and the same thing happened to my son, Obasi. And both of them had respiratory issues. And both of them had to wait, not days, but weeks, just checking the air quality, checking the air quality, checking the air quality, and see if it's safe for them to come home. I lived in $1 million house on a golf course next to a Matt Ryan, bunch of MLB, NBA, and NFL players in this fancy country club. I'd give all that crap up to get my babies home. Thank God both of them came home. Both of them are healthy, as you saw in the other picture. But I was mad. I'm still mad. And I don't want to just be mad by myself. I want people to understand that take that, would-be anger, and they're not my situations. There are thousands of other situations out there that show you this is not okay. This is not okay, the fact that we're living in a world, we're living on a planet where people are demolishing it for the next generation. People are ruining it for the people coming up behind us. And we can either be silent, be like, that sucks, that's terrible. Someone should do something about this. Somebody should do something about this. Or you say, I'm going to do something about this. And it doesn't matter if you can, and none of us can, snap our fingers and change everything. It doesn't matter if you have a huge impact. The fact that you can do something, the fact that you can even start the process of, you can't fix a problem unless you know there's a problem. You can't change unless you know why to change. This is my why right here. There are lots of whys out there. You can take my why and run with it, or you can find your own why. Because every single one of us can find a reason why we want better for the next generation. Why we want better for ourselves. Because again, I got my 14 gray hairs. I'm getting old, I'm 39, but there are some of you guys that are 10, 15 years younger than me and got to deal with what we've given you and should be very interested in how to be part of the solution. What needs to be done? It's simple, and I've touched on it a couple of times. It's not about just feeling sorry for ourselves and saying, let's blame the old people. Let's talk about what hasn't been done and who needs to do it. What needs to be done right now? I feel like it's a grassroots movement. Because as you probably know, you can't always count on the government to put things in place that are going to save all of us. It's about using what we have, using the ability for us to get the next generation to grow up in a space where they understand how this can change everything. They understand the importance of the environment. And so for me, it's simple. I want to educate and inspire the next generation of environmental leaders. I want to make sure that these kids know what's going on. And imagine if all of us grew up, and some of us did. Some of us had, parents that were organic this and that were, recycled that and were respect the planet, and most of us didn't. I know I didn't. Again, my parents were not bad people. They just didn't have a focus on the environment or sustainability. They just focused on raising a good son. And they did a decent job of that. But the environment was never something that they really concentrated on. So as far as what can be done, the first thing is educate. I'm excited about my foundation because we took a real aggressive attitude on educating these kids. Because you saw the video of the kids outside running and jumping. Now, I'll be honest with you, they didn't like this part at first. You'll see, there's one of the, in the corner, my man with the do-rag on in the corner, he was complaining every single 5 minutes. Mr. Ovie, let me go outside. Mr. Ovie, let me go outside. Mr. Ovie, I don't want to do none of this. I don't want to do this. Why are we here? We don't do this at Roddy White football camp. Like, I had to hear it all. But one of the great things about my brother here, I forget his name, was that he came to me at the end and was excited. He was like, I'm going to get my mama to start recycling. I'm going to do that, yeah. I'm going to tell her to start recycling because I'm going to tell her that's our way to we can be part of the solution. It's empowering kids. And it's educating them, and not just one or two things and to feel like, all right, I did my job. No, we really gave them an arsenal of ways. I mean, there's small ways because we try to find something for everybody where it doesn't matter that they don't have the income to buy a Tesla electric car. It doesn't matter that they don't have the ability to go fully organic everything. It doesn't matter that they can't spend all the money to be perfect across the board. I'm very clear that I don't want perfect to be the enemy of good. There are a lot of people who are afraid to get involved in the environmental movement because they don't want to be, picked apart saying, all right, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, didn't do this, didn't do that, didn't do this, didn't do that, and really you are a terrible environmentalist. You should really just move somewhere. You should go on with that. Because I actually was told that myself. I was a fledgling. After my kid situation, I got involved, and I was excited, I wanted to do more. I had people from the establishment environmental community say, well, Mr. Mughelli, you need to change your car, and Mr. Mughelli, you need to do this, and Mr. Mughelli, there's a picture of you at the event, and I saw you using a straw, and Mr. Mughelli, and I was just like, I'm not that guy. I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm somebody who wants to do right and wants to do better, but I damn sure ain't perfect. And I don't think everybody else here is. So understanding that and realizing that it's all right if you're not perfect. Come on, we want you. Because doing something is better than doing nothing. Doing anything is better than doing nothing. And showing that you want to at least start that journey where you can really start showing yourself, but more importantly others, that it's possible to do right by our planet. Next thing is employ. I always say this, but it rings especially true when you're talking to communities of color. It's very hard to worry about polar bears when you worry about putting food on the table. It's very hard when people are saying, well, let's go advocate, let's go Greta Thunberg it and go march in the streets and do all this stuff. If you don't have the luxury of being able to advocate and to be able to speak and be able to make a positive change for the environment, because you're worried about your rent, you're worried about dealing with maybe a parent, you have somebody who's dealing with some drug issues, you got maybe some violence here, you got other things going on. It's not equal footing unless you find a way for it to make sense for people. Now this is a big but if you can find ways to show the next generation, and even this generation, how to make green by going green, and save green by going green, and make a difference, then you got something. Then you really got something. And the great thing about it is that when it comes to employing people, there's a lot of opportunities out there. We have not only STEM jobs, but solar, wind. I have the solar panel picture because I'm partnered with a couple of great organizations where they're making solar jobs available to people without college degrees. and you guys are in college, so stay in college, don't run and get a solar job, but there are opportunities across the board at every single level. But it's understanding where these opportunities are to do good and do well at the same time. And one of the things that my foundation does, and one of the things that I'm very passionate about doing, is show people how you can actually make money in the green space. We have something called a Green Speaker Series, and we're excited about it because it's like a giant career day for environmental professionals. Because a lot of times, people in college or in universities don't go after green jobs because they don't know the green jobs exist. There's so many specific different environmental occupations at recycling plants and solar companies and sustainability directors and at water treatment facilities and jobs where you can get paid very well, and you also can go to sleep at night knowing that you are part of the solution when it comes to sustainability. But no one knows about these jobs. I didn't know about these jobs, and I got a master's in business from George Washington University. I went to Wake Forest for 5 years. I redshirted a year. I wasn't stupid, but I went there for 5 years, and I did not know about all the opportunities in the green space to create income for yourself and your loved ones. So in solving this problem, and I've made it very clear what the problem is, I think that employing the right people and employing people, period, is a very important issue. And the next is inspiring. And despite my goofy mid-sentence face, I was somewhat inspirational in that talk, but I talk around the country, and you don't have to be an NFL player to inspire. You've been an inspiration to several people that you know and can continue to be an inspiration if you just share information you're getting here and share information that you're going to research yourselves. It's inspirational to show somebody that, hey, I have a solution. There's a very important problem that I want your help with, and I want you to really make this difference, make this change. That's inspirational. With our kids, we really make it our mission to let them have fun. Because with football, it was fun. I'm not going to lie to you. Walking into an arena and having 70, 80, 90,000 people, scream your name and go crazy is probably one of the most goosebump, chilling, exciting things I've done in my personal professional career. Even at the high school level, I have my mom out there going, "Oh yeah, go, oh yeah, you can do it!" And she was just crazy excited. I saw her in the stands. I give her a little point, and I go do my thing. I was just, being inspired. Oh, you feel like you can fly to do anything, but to be inspired to get involved in this movement, that's even double that amount of excitement because I love every second of the NFL. I love the fame, and I love the opportunity to do what I love, to do my thing. But with this, I'm inspired. I love inspiring others because I know that it's going to do something that the NFL couldn't. The NFL couldn't give my daughter the ability to breathe. The NFL couldn't get me the magic fairy dust I could throw in the air and fix it. I couldn't throw money in the air and fix it. If I could, I would have thrown it all in the air and just get my baby home. But what I'm doing now is going to help my kids and my grandkids have a better, cleaner, safer, healthier future. And that's what you all can do by inspiring action. And one of the things I'm doing is the comic book. You saw a little bit of it in the video, but my comic it's our baby because I was a Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, just fiend when I was growing up. I love comic books. I love superheroes. It's something I'll be able to fly. It's something about, reading something and you have those mental pictures in your head or you're watching a cartoon or a movie. The reason Marvel and DC are making so much money is because we all want to feel like we have superpowers and we're superheroes. So Gridiron Green, that's the first real black environmental superhero out there. Back to it's hard to be what you can't see. A lot of people of color are not involved in this movement because they don't see themselves in the movement. I saw Kwame, I caught him with a lot of noise there. I said, hey, there's my guy, Kwame, Captain Planet. I connected with him. I'm trying to create something that allows people to connect with them as well. And Gridiron Green, we have our second episode coming out, our second issue coming out about recycling for Earth Month. Really excited about that because we can go and connect with people. Middle school, high school, we have our comic book, we have curriculum, digital and written, and we have a gamification element where you can literally read a comic book in school. Now follow me. You can read a comic book in school to learn about the environment, and you can play a video game to get tested on what you learn. So that's what we're creating. Trying to make it easy, trying to make it fun. Inspiring others to find their own way to make a difference. And finally, how you can play a role. Make sure your organization is aware of this issue. Whether you're in a fraternity, you're in a sorority, you're at a school, you're at a community organization, make sure your organization is just aware of, and climate crisis, unfortunately, is a dirty word to certain people. Global warming is unfortunately a dirty word to some people. You don't even have to say climate crisis or global warming. You just say health, healthier planet, clean air, clean water, things that anyone can really wrap their heads around. With sports, I've always mentioned the Falcons won. I don't care if you're black, white, rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you're going to be hugging somebody and saying, we finally won. We didn't lose again. We finally won. You don't care who the person is. You're going to go crazy. That same ability that sports can do to bring people together, this environmental crisis can bring people together because we all want to win. We all want to survive. We all want to be healthy and successful. And we can do that if we work together. Diverse hiring practices, it's important. We all know that diversity is going to breed innovation. We all know diversity is important on the workspace and in every space. But in this green movement, it's especially important. And it's something that we all need to be intentional about doing. At my college, at Wake Forest University, at every other university, throughout the environmental movement, it does not look like America. And especially it doesn't look like the people who are being disproportionately affected by it. So that's something that we all need to realize. We need to have some uncomfortable conversations on why that's occurring. And we need to step through that and make sure that on this campus and everywhere else, when we have an environmental meeting, a meeting about sustainability, a meeting about how we can, talk about going green, it should be one that has every single color of the rainbow here and in that conversation because it's necessary. We can't just have one segment of the population talking about it and expect to be successful. And when you talk about helping us educate and taking action, it's just about reaching out. It's just about knowing places where they're looking for hope, looking for, it's not about hope and change. They're looking for a way to uplift themselves in a situation, and they want something. Just like the kid who's tugging on my shirt, they want a chance to be a part of the solution. Let's give them that chance. I'm big on finishing. When I played in high school, when I played in college, when I played in the NFL, our coach used to always say, finish the play, finish the game, finish the season, finish. Every single one of us here understands how important it is to finish what we start. We understand about how important it is to give our all, to finish. We used to talk about leaving it all on the field. When we left the game, we would be dragging, we'd be tired, we wouldn't have an ounce left to give. Give everything you got. Because the last thing you want is regret. And I felt that. I felt that when my kids were born, I didn't know that air pollution would be something that could potentially take their lives from me. I felt that regret when I lost football games and I didn't go full out. I felt the regret when I missed the tackle because I was loafing and just jogging. The last thing we want as a society, the last thing we want as individuals, is to regret and have our last breath on this planet and say, I wish I would have done more. Because now my kids, my grandkids, and people that I love gotta deal with my inaction. Gotta deal with me being ambivalent. Gotta deal with being indifferent. I'm asking you not to be that person. I'm asking you to leave on the field. I'm asking you to finish with this issue. Because this is one of the most important issues that we can deal with as people. I know that personally, I'm fired up. I've been fired up for a long time, but I got my why every day staring me in the face, looking at me with all the hope, with all of the trust that I'm going to do what's in their best interest every single day with every single decision. Figure out what your why is. Figure out what's most important to you. You got school, you got life, you got family, you got everything else pulling at you, but make some time to really find a way to be part of the solution. I'm asking you to get off the sidelines and stop just watching this happen and to get on the field and be a part of this game. This is not a game we can afford to lose. Thank you.